time at the end of the session. Manny may answer some of the questions. And we basically have to leave at 5 before 3. So this is my time. So maybe in half an hour, let's say. It's going to be easier for that. So since there's no election per se for the Atlantic, it's a session for you to know Manny more. So we've prepared a set of questions for him to answer. So he'll be able to say his visions on those different subjects. So Manny, if you're ready, I will go with the questions right now, unless you want to do some introduction.
I'll do a bit of an introduction first, I guess.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Manny Costain, Regional Director-elect for the Atlantic region. Bon après-midi, mesdames et messieurs, je me présente Manny Costain.
Manny Costain, and Director for the Atlantic region, elected. Thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Yes, I do acknowledge that the land in which I'm located on today is the traditional unceded territory of the Abequit Micmac First Nation. I guess going back to myself a little bit, just a bit of background on my history with PIPS. I've been a steward since 2005. I've been a subgroup president with the AFS group, with the Summerside subgroup. I've been a vice president of the PEI branch. I've also served as the on the regional executive as a member at large, and also as the vice chair from 2012 to 2019. I've also most recently served as the AFS, on the AFS group as the CS regional rep, national secretary, and national chief steward, various positions that I've held within the group from 2014 to 2021. So that's just a bit of background on me.
Excellent, thank you. So I'll go with the first subject. So how does COVID-19 affect your plans for the Atlantic region?
Well, I guess for starters, it certainly makes face-to-face and personal interactions a little bit more difficult in one aspect. You lose that. I think the current regional director, I think Kim Skanes, had a great idea with doing these, not really town halls, but steward touch points that she does every couple of months. I think those are very beneficial for the stewards out there. Could be something worthwhile to expand on that with the branches in the region, where maybe we do, whether it's every couple of months or maybe every quarter, or even once a year. I'd like to see them, I guess, more than once a year, is do a virtual meeting with the regional director, with the branches, and try to interact with people that way, with the branches. And then of course with New Brunswick, we have 6 separate employers in New Brunswick, and make that interaction with them, because with not being around for a while, yes, people feel they don't feel engaged, even less so with COVID on there now. So I mean, just a couple of ideas that I have. Certainly open to more ideas from anybody on the floor, from anybody out in the regions. Various people, they know how to get a hold of me through email and whatever. But I think that would be a good start with using this tool. We use this tool today to have these interactions. I think we can expand on it somewhat.
Let's see. Are you focused on the statu quo for the Atlantic region, or do you have any ideas for change? Can you discuss this with us?
I think the Atlantic region, I think, has been pretty well represented, and I guess pretty well in various stages. I do think we've always maintained that we have a very well trained steward network. Some things I'd like to expand on would be more specific training for the New Brunswick groups, for their separate employers that aren't bound by the by the federal sector, that aren't Treasury Board or agencies like the CRA, for example. Again, I guess, sorry, I'm drawing a bit of a blank. I'm drawing an absolute blank now. Those would be a couple of ideas for change, whether interacting, I think, with Facebook. We have a Facebook page, whether I put something in there every couple of months, expand on our newsletters. It's just to try to get communication back in there. I think the disconnect that we have right now is with the current board. There's a lot of distrust there. I don't think it's happened more recently. I think it's been over a period of time, the last few years. And I think it's trying to work and refoster that trust with the region. really connect with the members to make sure that all the members feel that they are being heard, whether they're from a large group, whether they're from a small group, that their voice matters because it has to matter. They're a dues paying member, they need to matter.
Merci. On va faire la prochaine en français.
The next one in French,
représenter la dualité.
just to represent the linguistic duality of the Atlantic region. So
Qu'est-ce que tu penses
what do you think
des 4 premières questions
about the first 4 questions that were asked this morning, or this afternoon rather, in the debate?
I'll answer this in English, I think.
Répondre en anglais.
What I've seen so far in regards to truth and reconciliation, I think, yes, to use a line from what President Davio says, I think we have to make sure that the government we keep their feet to the fire to make sure that they're going to actually follow through on what they're saying. It's one thing to say something and to say, oh, well, we believe in truth and reconciliation. And it's another thing entirely to actually implement something. In regard to the vaccines, I've been asked this question. I actually responded to an individual yesterday that asked me a question on it. The way I've approached it, I've looked at it and said, no matter what I say in regards to the mandates, it's a no-win. It's a no-win question. No matter what you say, somebody's not going to agree with you. Somebody's not going to be happy with what you say. So I've approached it with what my personal feelings are towards it. My feelings are is I would like to be in an office that I feel safe in. So I'd feel more comfortable with people that are fully vaccinated. So that makes me more or less agree with the mandates. Now, that being said, I wish there would have been more consultation from the get-go. My belief was what they would do is for those that either could not get the vaccination, whether it be for religious reasons, whether it be for medical reasons, or quite simply by choice, is that what they would continue to telework from home. And should they have had to go to the office, either get the COVID questions that the departments ask, or at least that's what happens at the CRA, or that they have to provide a negative test. Those are what I can think of in regard to the questions. I know there was 4, but those are the 2 that jump off the top of my head so far.
Yeah, so the other one was about teleworking, so allowing people to stay at home or not, depending on whether what they prefer.
Well, it's an interesting question, and looking back at the history, it's funny because prior to the pandemic, anybody that requested a formal telework arrangement, it was almost always met with a denial. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit and it was like, oh crap, now we have to do something. So now it went from, okay, nobody can work from home to now everybody can work from home. Now, so far, at least with the Canada Revenue Agency, with what I've seen there and the consultation from there between the CRA and the AFS group, is what they're looking at with the workplace of the future. It's going to be a hybrid 50-50. And we asked why 50%, and their answer was at the time is that they needed a number, and it was pretty much arbitrary, but it was going to be a combination of 50-50. I would like to see work from home continue. I know for me personally, it works very well because I can have this laptop, for example, to run my unit, to do my union work, plus my work laptop running simultaneously. I can go back and forth. My fear is with it though, and this is what we're going to have to keep the pressure on, is there are going to be managers out there that are going to set arbitrary rules for their office. I don't understand why, where we haven't met for 18 months or haven't been in the office very much for 18 months, that we have to have minimum 1 day a week that somebody has to go into the office. We've proven that virtual teams can work. It's not a new concept for us at the agency, especially for those that are doing desk side support and IT support. They've been doing virtual teams for 10 years now, so it's not a new concept. So it can be done without people having to go into the office. I guess the answer to the question, because I am being a bit long-winded to it, I would like to see that the employees continue to have the choice whether they're more comfortable going to the office or more comfortable to stay home. The option should be there.
Excellent, merci.
Thank you.
So basically, do you have any last words for your the people you're representing in the Atlantic region?
I guess it's kind of like what I posted on the Facebook page when I found out that I was acclaimed. I take this position with some excitement, but also with some nervousness. I'm nervous. I'm anxious most times. I'm anxious now when I get in front of a crowd. Anyway, I'm a bit better with how I handle it, but there are times where I do get very nervous and the anxiety gets the better of me. I want to be able to, I guess, to continue to connect with the members of the region. I want to make sure, and it's been something that for the people that know my history in the Atlantic region, is to make sure the separate employers, make sure the number of groups are looked after, make sure that no one's left behind. The same with some of our smaller groups. We know the large groups like the AFS and the CS group, they have good networks, they can look after themselves. It's the smaller groups where you might only have a handful of members scattered out across the region. We need to make sure that they're looked after. I'm a reluctant leader, I guess, in a sense. I don't see myself as being the leader that has all the answers. I want to listen to my regional executive. I want to listen to the branch presidents. I want to listen to the Steward Network. And most importantly, I want to listen to the members to see what their concerns are. You know, my lines are always open, whether it be by phone, like by text or by email. I want to make sure that you're heard. We might not always agree or on a matter or have a difference of opinion, but you at least have the right to be heard. And that's the message that I want to get home, or to send home today, is that everybody has a voice and everybody needs to be heard. I've seen it enough in my experiences within various constituent bodies in PIPs that some people are listened to, others are largely ignored. Some people are given privileges more as opposed to the others. I'm not that type of person. I don't like it. It really frustrates me and makes me angry to see stuff like that. So I just want to ensure that everyone in this region has a voice.
Merci beaucoup. So I've
Thank you very much.
So maybe I'll wait a couple of seconds, but if there's no question, I will post the link to the main room, so you can decide on to joining the room now or just wait for maybe 10 minutes before the meeting. So the main meeting will resume in 20 minutes. So 30 minutes, sorry. So at 3:05 Ottawa time, so 2:05 Atlantic time. I'll just copy the link here and post that in the chat so that you have it handy. So this is the same link that you used for the main session. So if you lose it for any reason, just go back to the webpage, the PIPS webpage, and it's the same link. So I see no questions. So I thank you a lot, Manny, for this session. So it was recorded, so it will be available on the PIPS website within a few days and made available for everyone. So you should have started receiving the voting ballots. It's not like everyone at the same time. So they started this morning. So you might receive it up until, I think, the 22nd of October. And if not, just send an email to election@pips.ca and they'll be able to sort it out. So I'll thank you all, and we'll see you in half an hour in the main room.